Alright, so is everybody caught up? Or at least getting there? Hello. Oh, wait. Okay, 2 watching. So, I gotta say, I don't know, while we're waiting for people to join or whatever, but the thing about these episodes that is cool is just being able to really see visual representations of all of these things that I've read in Zellner's, filings and various things, but to actually see the actual, experiments and things like that actually physically done and on video, I think is the coolest thing so far about MAM2, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. It's really, I'm just eager to kind of get to the next one, just because I know it's gonna be like the next episode, next expert. Like, this one here we had Farwell with the brain fingerprinting, which was, I think the brain fingerprinting is really kind of interesting. It's it's like showing a person information, and in this case, something that's particularly like an image of the crime that happened or whatever. And what they do is they show that to a suspect, and if the suspect has what they call the murmur, or I would compare it to a computer's processor booting up because it's accessing memory and stuff, and they can measure that brain, when the brain has that response, they can measure it, and that's how they're able to use brain fingerprinting. It's not exactly like fingerprinting, but it's starting to become something that's kind of catching on, and it's being allowed to be used in certain places, some places, I guess. So all right, here we go. We got a couple people. You look tired. I am tired. I am pretty tired, actually. But I'm still eager to watch more episodes, to be honest. So I may look tired, my eyelids may look heavy, but I'm about ready to go back to the for the next episode. Seeing as we only have a couple people here, and you guys may want to get back to the next episode too. I don't know. So. You're welcome, man. I thought, I don't know, it's very interesting what's going on there, and I mean, she's essentially just showing where the prosecution was just fantasizing, the whole time, basically. That whole first half of that episode was focusing on Brendan, and I don't know if some of you noticed, but there was a lot of that footage of Drizzen and Knight Rider up on a kind of like a stage and at a podium and stuff, and that is from a YouTube video called the True Story of a False Confession, which is about Brendan Dassey. And yeah, I suggest that video for anybody. If you haven't seen it, I suggest it. Check it out. It's a bit long. It's I think an hour and hour and 30 minutes or something like that, but it is just a really good, very informative kind of lecture slash discussion kind of thing. It's really interesting, like I said. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. The video, what video? The video I was just talking about, called Brendan Dassey, A True Story of a False Confession. That's the title of it. It's on YouTube. No, they made that one over there at their law school without any help from me, so. Oh, no worries, Caroline. Yeah, it's a great video. I should really highly recommend it. Absolutely recommend it. And I say, pay special attention to a gentleman that you'll see in the video after, I believe it's around pretty much, I think, right around the hour mark. They start doing a little discussion up on stage. And Robert Milan, he's a former prosecutor. Pay attention to that guy. And also pay attention to when he mentions conviction integrity units, or CIUs as they're called for short. He talks about those, and Robert Milan is a very ethical prosecutor. Just ahead with Barb. She will be so cooperative with Zimmer, points his finger. Well, we'll see about all that. So, I don't know, unless anybody had any questions here about episode 2 that they wanted to ask, or something that they thought was unclear or wanted to ask my opinion about. I think I'm ready to just go ahead and jump right on into episode 3. So, like I said, unless somebody else has a specific question about episode 2 that they wanted to ask. Yeah, she says that in there. As a way for people, I think she says it really more as a way for people that believe Stephen is guilty anyway. She's just kind of throwing it out there like, okay, yeah, and if he is, we won't be able to help him or whatever, basically. I don't know. It is what it is. She makes it pretty clear, I think, in both of the 2 episodes, that she is very convinced that Stephen is innocent, that he conducts himself as an innocent person would, and for her, he just has all the hallmarks of a wrongfully convicted person. So, there's a full moon. Oh, okay. I'll be back. No matter how heavy my eyelids are, I still want to watch. Like I said, I'm still like, I now want to go to the next episode and see which expert's next. I'm like, ooh man, because I love getting, dude, seeing the hood latch experiment the way we did, just getting to see all the visual representations of all that, and seeing her experts there explaining why and how things are, explaining when they were talking about throwing Teresa into the back of the RAV4 the way this prosecution had suggested, that it was coming off the hair and leaving that spatter, and the way that the expert was explaining how the drops that hit pretty much coming at a straight angle, right dead on. They weren't, and so they had to be coming from close by, because if they had been traveling through the air for a while, they would have started to have a downward arc, and you would have seen that in the drops. But because the drops hit and were pretty much circular, he knows that they were pretty much at a horizontal angle when they hit. If it was as the prosecution suggests, from like hair whipping and throwing spatter over onto that tailgate like that, then you would see a sideways type of you would see a sideways type of a teardrop shape for a horizontal pattern. And more and on why the prosecution's theory is just completely hokey and completely wrong, essentially. Hi, Paul. Hi, the Mad Scotsman has joined us, folks. I've got Steven. Okay. I also left a video that Sean Atwood just uploaded on how to write Steven. If anybody's interested, there's a link. It's the link down and below in the information box there. The experts are on point in your videos. New here if you've watched your video. There's nothing new here if you've watched my videos. Yeah, potentially, but like I said, for me, I made those videos. I read all those documents. I've researched this case, and I still like seeing these visual representations of the experiments, like particularly the hood latch one, all that stuff. I am very much immensely enjoying seeing the actual experiments and seeing it all on the screen. That's for me, that is even though I read it and understood it and knew what it meant, it's still very cool to me to be able to see it right there on the screen. Ask me about the control question. Yes, send me an email at ErekoseMAM, all lowercase, no spaces, just ErekoseMAM at gmail.com. Send me an email there. Send me an address and what color and what size. So send those 3 things to that email address. And I can start moving forward on getting you a shirt if you want one. Yeah, absolutely, guys. That's the best part of this, is just getting to see those experiments, getting to see, them performing them, seeing them recreate, trying to throw, using that, mannequin to try to recreate throwing Teresa into the back of the RAV4 to recreate that spatter. And because that is what the Stalkey, that the blood spatter expert that testified for the prosecution, that's how he claimed it happens. But that's pretty much what they kind of disprove here. Her and Stuart James, her blood spatter expert, basically tell us all why that's wrong and make it very clear. See, for those of us who, I shouldn't say those of us, for those who haven't read the motions, don't understand all this, they'll be able to watch this show, they'll be able to watch these episodes, and with minimal knowledge of the case, they're going to be able to understand why these things are significant, even if they don't understand the wider implications of why those things are important. So I think in a lot of ways, the information that's getting conveyed right now is important, but it's important that it's going to be getting to those people out there who, as I said, didn't follow as closely as I have or we have, and they're going to be able to feel that proper outrage about some of the BS that's been going on. And in my opinion, that's the real positive that's going to come from it. I'm about to go start the third myself, guys. So, just like Caroline just did. So, I will be back after episode 3, and we'll have a little bit more discussion about what's going on here, and whatever's going to be in episode 3, which is undoubtedly going to be interesting, just as the first 2 were. So, we'll see you guys in, well, you know, about an hour. Hopefully, we'll get more and more people will be caught up, and we'll like maybe be in sync. Hopefully, by say the 4th or 5th episode, where we're all just like watching it at exactly the same time. But anyway, so like I said, about an hour from now, after I'm done with episode 3, we'll see you guys then.